I bring in my whole crew. No country. Mama, kalapa, kalangapai. No country. Yeah, mama, kalapa, follow me. I stop in Kakata, Pagani.
Papa, Here are the top 10 things you can do if you think you might have coronavirus or COVID-19. 1. Stay home. 2. Monitor your symptoms carefully. If they worsen, call your healthcare provider. 3. Rest and stay hydrated. 4. If you have a medical appointment, call ahead and let them know you may have COVID-19. 5. If your symptoms are severe, call 911. 6. Cover your cough and sneezes. 7. Wash your hands often. 8. Stay away from others in your home. Use a separate bathroom. 9. Avoid sharing personal items. And 10. Clean all surfaces that are touched often. For more information on COVID-19, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Let's take care of ourselves and each other. Here are the top 10 things you can do if you think you might have coronavirus or COVID-19. 1. Stay home. 2. Monitor your symptoms carefully.
Ablion krebe monavlu monlua mokrai kunka ablion inji klawe emolusia kaya nu je we escablo awe edba anyon je enwe.
Listen to this this gentleman here, this old man here that we are in the popular relations aspect of fight this COVID-19. Listen to this calm old man here giving an awareness.
On si aje e wuri awe bokwa to e de oja in said go bob di blie ablion iso eson de quoi de sobo quoi de saflen quoi do mininjo dugedi di quadre ablion o gbake boyan wuri gba non on si aje e wan wetan we son bo je bo wuri gba ablion bon andukwa awe de bon son nkwa epo e bon andukwa awe de bonyon won nya non on dia on si aje we son bo je bo won nya ese yin mo bo nyo wuri gba de boyan de eso kwatu e de boyan de eso nyo won nya de boyan de eso isweso bo andukwa awe de quoi de saflen quoi.
Folks, welcome to today's broadcast. The first of all, so right here, as usual, we want to welcome all our viewers and listeners right here to this edition of the LIBERIA. But as usual, we always here to bring you news, information, entertainment, right here to from the diaspora to giant station, and that's LIBERIA. Good evening, folks. Welcome to today's broadcast. All Things Considered is your informative news magazine. It comes your way every Thursday right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Today is Thursday. To want to welcome our viewers and listeners right here this evening. Thank you so much. What a crazy day here. It's 8:17 Eastern Standard Time. You don't ask me what, you know what is going on, and everybody have to catch up to get certain things done, but we also committed ourselves to this sort of community initiative, so we are obliged. I don't care how tight the schedule should be. We just don't want to disappoint you. So a lot is unfolding, a lot is happening, and I think we are on an obligation to have this sort of conversation. I want to welcome all of our viewers and listeners, wherever you are, under the sound of our voice. You saw the crown woman there from Grangita County, Republic of Liberia. I believe if around something tall corridor there or around my own corridor, that is to show we all are in this. There was a conflict in schedule, as a matter of fact, from yesterday. This is why we don't have the professor here this evening. But it's better late than never. It has been a very, very horrible day. So she's not here. We made a changes in schedule, but whatever the case, our lines remain open. And I'm talking about Professor Joel. If the time is there, but it was actually from our side. Saying the time 8:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time coming on here, so that's quite that's a little that was the problem. But notwithstanding, we will get this conversation going, and our ultimate goal here is to create an effective awareness to the extent that people will not ignore what is happening in a global health war today. It is real, it is authentic, and there's no need that we can meet about that. We've been working a lot of phone lines today to get information, and I'm happy here. And this happiness is going to take me somewhere on the southeastern side of Liberia with this beautiful music, because I can remember that was 1970, 74, 73, 74. I was in that region. All right. And our goal is to get the conversation, this politics, the discord, the discussions outside of Morovia, because there are a lot of things happening. So it is important that we give this here. So let me take you to the side. If you are from that quarter, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. You will know exactly where the sound is coming from. All right. So let me just give this here as my own commitment, and I will share with you what is involved. I'm a Francis. this technology is okay. So Jackson, thank you so much and for giving me that a light, because sometimes when you are in the spirit of getting this thing going, you just think it's okay, but we are here to satisfy you, to keep it going the right way. And the only way we can get it going is for you, the listening audience, to get us. So, Mr. Jackson, wherever you are, thank you so much for shining a light. That's the beauty of this network here. Everyone is on this network so disciplined, so caring, so concerned. I want to make sure that they are informed as well. We want to thank you so much, Vincent, and all of those folks. I want to welcome our man, Amos George, is our regular contributor here from Atlanta, Georgia. Tonight program, all things considered, is like an open mic. I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak on a wide range of issues from Thursday to today's Thursday. A lot is unfolding, and like I said, we can now say it that we will be getting correspondent, the gentleman from the extensive conversation that I had with him today from Greenville, Sano County. We will be getting the correspondent, another name surfaced from Maryland County. This is the kind of crusade we are on. This is the kind of campaign we are on. And this is something, it is our goal, because we feel the news has been disproportionate. Monrovia is not the Republic of Liberia. As far as I'm concerned, it's Manuk of Liberia. What happens in Sano, in Riverside, in River G, in Nimba, Talofa, and all of those places? Banga Bon County, Central Liberia, we are solid because our man Bertin Tino is a great guy, awesome guy. You listened, maybe if you didn't get it to you, there was an interview with the superintendent of Bon County, Madam Esther Walker, and some community leaders today. We are holding everyone responsible. We want to make sure, yes, nothing is left unturned. We want to touch every aspect of every life in that country. That's the ultimate goal of the Liberia Public Radio. So considering the need that we are bearing, we must follow suit. We must create that sort of footprint so that everywhere, every part of Liberia, no matter how the plate is, will be touched. And that's the essence of the whole news business. You cannot disproportionate news. News must be proportional, equally across. So why will we be talking about Capitol Hill, Monrovia, the executive branch of government, the legislative branch of government, the judiciary branch of government? What happens to these other functionaries of government outside of Monrovia? That is unfair. And I'm quite sure you here from Sando, from Bon County, from Lofa, from Nimba, you are also interested to know exactly what is going on. All right. I called my own county today as well, Grand G there. We don't have a correspondent. Like I said, we had a very hectic day, but I'm getting some messages here already. But I was quite surprised and appalled from what we gathered from Sando today. It seems to be that there is no sort of preparedness is ongoing right now when it comes to this Ebola here. And that is a concern. It must be a concern to all of us. It must be a concern to all of us, because that would be very, very, it would be very, very much disturbing if we can get something there. If authorities are not reaching out and there's no local preparation is made, and how can they even make that sort of preparation when nothing is coming from from central government? Just hold on 1 second, folks. Let me just please bear with me 1 second, and I will be able to get this going. So we are doing everything possible to get this news going from all angles of Liberia. That is very, very much important. And we are excited, and we will do everything possible if we can. But we told him, whatever you're doing now, don't expect quick money now. It's not going to come right now. No, it is not going to come. But eventually, it will. It will come. And we always remind them it's good to be part of building the institutions. It's good to be part of building a system, because if you help to establish a system, if you help to build something, you have an ultimate voice. Your voice will never be diminished. Your voice will never fade away. But when you decide to get into something that is already established, that is already well grounded, you're almost like a visitor. You're almost like a person that is in transit, because you know what, folks, they put it together anytime they can tell you to go. But when you help to nurture something, to put it in place, believe me or not, you can have a very strong voice. And that's why we are encouraging our people. Well, folks, we're not going to do a lot of talking here tonight. All things considered is just there to, I'm going to be putting the number out here. But if you already know, the LPR number is 682-433-8802. There was a press conference held today. The reception was kind of like trouble. It was really bad. Our folks were there, but for some reason it was just going off and on, off and on, and off and on. So I just did not get precisely to what GOL, the authority from the government or the Ministry of Health, what they were really saying. That I cannot speak to. Good, but. Good news, according to news coming from inside Liberia, the World Bank, good cash has already gone in the country. And now our folks were there. We were hearing, and that there was some major meeting going on to the executive mansion. We are not yet informed as to where those group came from, the essence of the meeting. But perhaps if you listen to that press conference, I'm not sure what our details were released, but I overheard that there is a conference pending, I believe either tomorrow or something like very quickly. But 40 million to help in this process to combat the virus, that's huge, and that's where it's coming. We just hope and trust that our government, national government, will ensure to make sure that fundings that are going to be coming from the international agency will be wisely used for the purpose. We do not want to have the scenario, the saga of the Ebola, whereas at the end of the day there was no good report that surfaced, and a lot of eyebrows were raised as to how the money was used. This one here, we hope our government, we do not want to point a finger now so quickly, but we must tell them, we must sound the alarm or ahead so that they will know they are our leaders, and whatever they are going to be doing today, tomorrow, it is the lives of the people that are involved. So we really, it's important that we also sound that message. And we are very happy that despite of what is going on globally, somebody, somewhere, organizations, people are still thinking about a sovereign nation called the Republic of Liberia. That is very much important. So we are happy, we are excited, and we want to make sure that everything is okay, and that there must be a robust plan by the government of Liberia and health authorities and those in charge to carry out function or stuff here. Okay, let me bring in this caller here quickly. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Soul.
How are you, sir?
I am doing great.
You're doing great. Okay, and that's what we want. We want our people to be doing great, because when we hear those sort of strong voice coming like that, it means Creole men say then better day. So, okay, this is All Things Considered. As you know, is always on here every Thursday here on the LPR, which is perfectly suited to just outline and speak your guts on some of the things that are happening in your country, in your neighborhood, and around the world. So what are you considering this evening?
First of all, I want to say thank you. My name is Cummins Jerome. And I'm grateful that we still breathing. We counted among the living.
Right.
And we are not carried away by what we hear or what we see. But we know that preventive measures are vital and very important. But I will go to two issues here, Mr. Soul.
Okay.
One, I listened to the radio stations in Liberia. I saw the Liberia National Police in the principal on the principal streets of Monrovia with loudspeaker. I was pinching myself. I thought I was dreaming. Yes, I thought I was having a dream, but it was a reality.
Okay.
You know, in time like this, what they needed to do was get the Ministry of Health, get the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Ministry of Information, come together, put together a team. Let's see what can we do in terms of information dissemination. How can we get to our people, not only in Monserrado,
Right.
but how effective can our messages be that will spread throughout the length and breadth of this country? Do we need to do some dramatized monologue? Do we need to do some jingles? But when you have the police in the streets, they on loudspeaker, and they themselves are not even demonstrating anything, no PPE, nothing. That tells you that these people are not ready. That tells you that these people don't even understand what they call information dissemination in terms of a situation like this. My brother, Mr. Soul, it is worrisome. It is worrisome. You and myself, blessed to live in this country, and we see how these people themselves are finding it difficult how to tackle this situation. Every day is an update concerning where they are, how many cases, how many deaths, what they need to do. And look at our people. Inspector General climb on a vehicle using a loudspeaker, no PPE, nothing to demonstrate.
Cummins, let me intercept you here a little bit. Somebody out there that is listening who might be a free thinker is what do I say? But wait a minute, what comment is he saying? This guy, they are creating the weirdness. Is he a wrong 14? Was he a wrong process or wrong method they deploy? Is that what he's talking about?
The method is wrong. The method is wrong. The people that are disseminating the information are not the right people. Having worked as a community health educator with MSF France and MSF Belgium, I've worked in a situation where there was a major outbreak of cholera 1994-95 in Grand Bassa County. So I know, I may not be the guy who know all, but I know some techniques and tactics in through which you can help to disseminate information, especially in our country. With the porous nature of our health sector in our country, Mr. Soul, one would say, yes, the tactic, the techniques they're using is vital. But listen to the tone, listen to the message. Does the Inspector General understand the health implication? How does he relate the message with virtual aid? Look at the man. He's on the vehicle, no PPE, nothing.
So, in essence, he was not illustrative of what he was saying.
Yes.
Was he
There's
adding
no
insult
illustration.
he was adding insult to injury? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, no virtual aid, nothing. So the wrong messenger was carrying the right message, but he was not even disseminating the right information. So that alone, that process from the Liberian National Police end, it was poor. Very, very poor. You need the Ministry of Internal Affairs. You need the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. You need the Ministry of Information to work alone with all the media outlets in the country. So when they started noticing there was an outbreak of this virus, it was spreading in the Western world, they needed to start putting a team together
But
a rapid response team.
fair to mention, there was a team constituted, there was a team put in place, a task force team that was constituted by the president of the Republic of Liberia. Do you think that team was it out of formality, or they didn't just know their function?
The team didn't know their function because the team knew their function. Inspector General will not be in the street, no one PPE on him, and he claimed on the vehicle with a loudspeaker say he's making public service announcement or he's informing the public. Mr. Soul, we can read between. When a health team or a task force is put into place to curtail a situation, to study the feasibility, should in case anything, should in case there's an outbreak, you will see results that the team had been working. You know, if I was out there and I'm having PPE and I'm talking to a Bassa man, I'll be able to tell the Bassa man, say, sanitation, and then
so before I bring the other gentleman, so you enjoyed that crown old man that was because that was another. Comments. This is so frustrating. Since last weekend, even week before last, I've been reaching out to the health team, Dr. Fala, but honest to be the public relation officer at the National Public Health Institute, Mr. Oliver Ja, is very much responsive. But hold on one second. There's a caller here. Let me see whether they get a different version. We always like the proportionate discussion here this evening. There's a number here, 240 number 7253. Are you there?
Yes, Zawanja Amos.
Okay, Mr. Zawanja, how are you?
Thank God, and you?
Good. All right. What are you considering here? What's your own view on this?
Yeah, the first thing I would say thanks to the police. 10 better than 0, as we commonly say to Liberia. 10 is better than 0.
Okay.
You see, we can come up with contributions. We can do it, say, where I can speak Bassa very fluently. There's some people in Maria don't speak their own dialect. Okay? So if I can speak Kran, let me speak Kran and join the police to do that. We can do it ourselves, not only downplaying anybody. There is not time to downplay any institution. We have to come up with ideas that will help our people back there. If I can speak Grebo, let me come in and say, look, this is my contribution.
Yeah, but don't you think, in the same token, don't you think it should be coordinator?
Oh, you see, when the thing started here, my brother, the president downplayed it. He said that Democrats don't do this, Democrats don't do that. You see? So everything we always have to have a second thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay? We can work with the health team to come up with modalities. We all can do it. The president doesn't.
Yeah, but somebody must lead. I know we all, and all of us, I agree, all of us must have our shared responsibility to participate, but in such a volatile, it must be coordinated. Don't you see it that way as well?
Yeah, that's right. Mr. Soul, that's right. That's why I'm saying that we need to come on and make our phone calls by home so that the coordination aspect you're talking about, we can all work collectively. I think then we'll help our people. My contribution, people that have spoken, if we can call on the ground, it make great impact to our people. But right now, everybody is confused. Everybody is confused.
So you see...
We learned from Ebola.
Okay. All right.
We learned from Ebola.
Let me
people
see.
Downplay it initially, yeah.
Okay, hold on one second. If you can just mute your background here. Pa George, are you here?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, there are two dissenting views. So one said the police, as much it might have been in good faith, but there was a wrong approach or wrong people to giving the wrong message. Potentially it could exacerbate what is ongoing. And one is saying, no, we must, one is better than 0. Where do you stand? Do you think the police took the wrong decisions, or is it politics we are trying to inject into what is ongoing?
No, it's not politics. I just feel sorry for the police director. I just feel sorry for him. How many languages the police director speaks? What was the audience he was targeting? If you want to disseminate that information, what went wrong with the media outlets? You got people in Grand Gita. Did they hear the police director? Can that relate to someone in Totan, in Jauri? Can that reach someone in Zamita? No, it doesn't. So what the government needed to do, get in touch with Minister of Internal Affairs, as Mr. Cummings said, the health ministry and other health institutions, get people with the local languages, vernaculars, do this thing like a drama, put this short ad on the radio. People will listen to it. But what the police are doing there was just show. Now look at all the crime he was drawing. And you're talking about people proximity of 6 feet. Look at that crowd he was drawing. And the emotion was too much. So he was not the right person to carry that message. But for the common people, they will say, oh yeah, the government is doing well. No. They're not doing well. Now,
Somebody listening to you out there, hold on one second before I bring in the next person. Somebody looking out there will say, well, those sort of descriptive words, those are the tone or hip positions or opposition, or they are trying to play politics with it. Go ahead, Pa George.
Yeah. Now, let me just say that the government, I said it the other day, the government wasn't prepared. Listen to the chief medical officer today. That now they're going to start reaching out to the Dental and Medical Association of Liberia. I think 2 days ago, the Dental Association sounded alarm that they had not been involved. They had not been involved in the entire process.
Right.
They are not being involved. Now, how can you leave a group of doctors and nurses out? The people who are supposed to be on the front line, you sideline it. They have to come out to tell the Liberian people that, hey, we have been left out of this thing here. We are willing to work, even though we don't have the equipment.
What was the purpose? First of all, what was the purpose of doing that? Is that saying adequate preparations?
No, corruption. Because they don't want that money, that little money that coming to be spread out, because people will question them. So they don't want to bring all the professional organizations that's supposed to find the nucleus of this program to go on the front line. Then they went further to say they're not trying to reach into the counties. Come on. 3 weeks ago, I think you heard the media personnel from Phoebe Hospital that they are not even reached, and day before yesterday, they are not even, just got a word from them. Now, I think some people saw my post. The question I was asking is that if the National Institute of Health said that they are on top of this thing, let it show me in Ketmon, where's the quarantine point? In Manga, in Nilma, in Lofau. Where are the quarantine points? Let it show us. That is to tell you that these people were not prepared.
Okay.
They were taking it for joke or just to use the money that the government or the donor fund will make available to eat it.
Okay, hold on one second.
The people suffer.
Okay, to eat it. Let me bring somebody. I know there's a boiling, the person reaching the boiling point of this whole thing here, but being very, very much patience and exercise and maximum restraint. Christopher Tobasi.
Yeah.
Let me bring you here. You listen to Mr. Cummings, you listen to Mr. George, and they outline their opinions, their view. What is on the contrary from your side?
I mean, who am I to judge other people? You know, opinion could be right, could be wrong.
Are they politicking?
You know, I don't know what they're doing, but this is what I think. You know, first of all, I want to say thank you to the police director for the awareness. Maybe we can criticize the policy, but we can work on it because policy can be made and can be rectified and all of that.
Thank you.
But I want to first of all say thank you to Honorable Sulu because police, they are part of first responders. You know, the police, the firefighters, you know, our professionals in the healthcare sector, or you know, so every one of them, they are part of this thing, you know, including at some point the army will be involved too, you know. So I want to say thank you to him. But I wish they have done this earlier because if you look at some of my writing, I even posted a picture like 3 weeks ago. And I said that as officers, you're supposed to get the information, get the education, and take it to your family. Educate your family first on the prevention message or wherever. Then you go to your community. Then you go to your fellow officers. All of that. They should have done everything, you know. But Honorable Sue, let's be frank here.
Mm-hmm.
Monrovia will not go to Grand Gila to tell the health or the person in charge in Grand Gila as a director for, you know, healthcare services or whatever, what to do. You are a professional. You went to school. You know.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. The process is being coordinated. It's not a matter of then going there physically to be present, but the instructions, logistics, the support, and things should trickle down there. That seems not to be the case, even as we speak. I talked to people in Sando today. There is no awareness. They have not received anything. The Ministry of Health, you will talk. No, you will talk. The Ministry of Health is the overall, and you have the Health and Public Safety. These are all coordinated. Unless somebody will tell me that these people are not fully represented in these various counties, and that's a different thing.
Yeah, you see. Information from the central. Let's say when the president spoke the other day, they are listening to Monrovia, but at the same time, those local practitioners or professionals over there, they went to school. They are trained. They know what to do in terms of awareness, education, information. All these things they're supposed to know what to do in Nima.
That's a guess game you are playing, right? Christopher. They know what they're supposed to do.
I'm just trying to tell you. Let me put it in the security form again. A commander in Grand Gila will not wait for Patrick Sulu in Monrovia to enforce the law.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Making to that, trying to draw that parallel line. Hold on 1 second here. Let's put it into context. And before I can bring in the other people to argue their point too. You're talking about commander. If, God forbid, if there was anything military-wise, where do you think the command going to come from? Don't you think they're going to come from national headquarters, defense, and instruct the men and women, say, X, Y, Z, this is what you're supposed to be doing? Or will we say, okay, because they are army men or paramilitary personnel, they should know or they should use their common senses? Is that what you say? That what you're saying?
I'm just trying to tell you that if you're a police director assigned to Grand Gila, and when you see a crime being committed, you're not going to wait for Patrick Sulu in Monrovia and the president to tell you what to do. You went to the academy, you got your training. You're supposed to know what to do. I'm not going to let them off the hook. All the doctors, the nurses, the RN, everybody in those villages and counties supposed to know what to do. You went to school, the training is there. You got to bring awareness. You got to bring information. Even before Central come to your aid.
Okay, so, okay.
Even put it in America.
Okay, hold on 1 second, Christopher.
All these villages we live in North Dakota, they knew what to do. But even without the vaccine, they will tell you wash your hands. They will tell you do this, do that. They don't have to wait for the president of America.
Okay. So, Cummings.
Yeah. Let's be frank here, man.
Yeah, no, hold on. We're going to be honest yet, and that's why we're going to, you will give your side, you will argue. We are having conversation. Yeah, hold on 1 second. This sounds to me like a theory here that Christopher is creating here. I'm not sure how practical that is here, but let's put it into context here. It's based on like a superstition. This is what they're supposed to do. This is a very volatile issue. It must be properly coordinated. We know there are limited resources in terms of our own capacity as a nation and things that we are going. We understand. But from all indication, I was very, very much impressive from the first video footage that came, the processes from the airport and all of that. Our guess was this is being properly coordinated outside of Monrovia. Cote d'Ivoire is affected. Guinea is. And so those are possible points that people might be going back and forth. Just yesterday, I spoke with authority from Phoebe Hospital. There is nothing in plan. And yet we're talking about Christopher say they should know what they're supposed to do. They should not tell them they went to school, they are trained. Is that how we want to coordinate things to make it work much better?
Mr. I listened to my younger brother, Chris, and I was just laughing when he brought this scenario, looking at it from a security standpoint. I'm not a security expert, so I may not know where he was heading to as it relates to his point. But let me show Chris something. Take for example, there was an outbreak of cholera in a place called Monway, in Grand Bassa, and compound number 3. And 99% of those people coming from over there, they're coming from outside of Grand Bassa, and they're on Sepu Hill. MSF health office is in Monrovia. The outbreak of cholera is in Grand Bassa itself and these other nearby towns and villages. We set up a program, Chris. The program, despite the fact the action is taking place in Grand Bassa, but we need to coordinate things with the people in Monrovia. The people in Monrovia don't know the techniques we're using until we tell them that this is the formula that we are using, and when you use this formula, it's going to work. While it is true that they understand as EHW what they need to do, but there is a particular formula we're using, and we think that this formula will resolve the problem. So Chris cannot say because these medical practitioners, they are in Tuzon, some are in Chien, or somebody in Bokonjide, or somebody in Vama, or Gola, let's say somewhere in Fisabu, they know what to do immediately. No, in this case, coordination is vital. You know, Mr. So that's what happens when you come and take people who are not going through the rank and file. Let's say, for example, the man was not even a cadet, and you put him in a position to be a manager proper. He don't understand what to do. And that's what people will do when you find them in those kind of positions. They assume that, when this situation happens, these people need to respond quick to this. And you talk about first responders in this country. You will notice that every time a first responder or people go to a scene, a crime scene in this country, they are adequately informed. They are adequately informed. 99% of our people who work in the medical or legal practitioner in our country, some of them are not adequately informed, Chris. Some of them don't even know what to do. So they go there as a result, the whole situation turns chaotic.
Is it so?
But
come in when the guy finished. Hold on 1 second.
Coordination. There's a need for perfect coordination. If a task force was set aside, a setup rather, to deal with this situation, Mr. So, we're not like one of the caller after me said, we're not here to criticize. We're not criticizing things, but we're critiquing the method being used, the method being applied. That the police director was not the right person to do it. So why you have
well, see, first of all, this is a cardinal question that's going to come in here, because there was a committee constituted. Was he part of that committee? And if you are the committee, who was the head of that task force? Because there was a special presidential
task force committee constituted, it means people are charged with the responsibility to ensure that the right thing is done. I'm not sure whether he was part of that.
Mr. So let me just come in.
Yeah, hold on one second, Mr. George. Zawanya, are you there? I'm sure you wanted to counter.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, quickly, Mr. So, you see, the particular example, you made reference to the airport. We saw it, we're very happy, very impressed. People coming in, washing their hands, sanitizing their hands. But Dr. Blaman, PhD, did not observe the protocols. Okay?
Whose fault?
There were things that were put in place.
No, whose fault, Mr. Zawanya? Why he didn't observe the protocol? There was a protocol. Who was managing that protocol? Somebody should supersede. Somebody should be in charge to make sure that those protocols are enforced.
Mr. So, most of all we say had our syndrome. You know whom are? We still live with that.
Should we continue to live with it?
It was shown, practically it was shown. Mr. So, the gentleman came, he let people in line, but he did not have that patience to stand in line. That PhD man, so he can't stand in line with high school people. You see, these are the situation we find ourselves most time down overlooking things, but he didn't know the impact it had to his own cook. You see, protocols have been put in place. We talk about coordination, which is right, it's true. But if somebody comes up with that loudspeaker, there are some people that don't even know about it. Some people know it, but they are still going to a nightclub, even though you are told them, avoid quietness. But people are still going as we speak in Monrovia. But it's okay, let somebody else come in. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, hold on one second. Let Pa George. I think Pa George.
My big brother Gerald said something.
Yeah, you will come, but Mr. George will come. Mr. George.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. So.
How can we fix this?
Okay, but before let me say something. When you talk about law enforcement, we expect police. When you talk about medical issue, the front line are the doctors. The police fall back. Now, who do you think the people would have listened to most? A nurse and the police director. Who do you think, the nurse or the doctor? Now, let me go furthermore. If these people were ready, listen to 2 recordings. They got the driver of Dr. Blaman. They kept in the car for 6 hours. Then today, I listened to an interview. The guy who helped Dr. Blaman from the airport who handled his bag. He's in quarantine. The man said since Friday, when they took him and carried him to the hospital where they're holding them, the government, nobody has given him food to eat since Friday. Dr. Blaman is people the one that feeding him. Now, if the people are seeing that they're ready, they want people to show up that got symptoms of the disease. Do you think that is something encouraging? No. Now, the issue is that, the people in those areas, medical directors, they know, they went to school, they know all these things. But we got second thing they call logistics. Logistics. Now, that logistics imply in case of what? You talk about money, car, gun, all those things. Then the government send those things to those people, dispatch them to them, say, okay, look, you hold this thing here, set up a system, set up a place, and we'll be monitoring, we'll be talking to you from Monrovia. You don't have to go there nowadays. Technology has advanced. But none of these people have gone there. The team in Monrovia, none of them have gone in the area. Then how can we say that these people are prepared? No. For me, I don't bite my tongue. If the way our government did something right, I will say it. The last time when I saw that video and the interview with James Botte, I assumed, I thought, this guy had learned a lesson from Ebola. But when I started looking at that the Blaman case and the stories are coming on, then I said this thing was just a photo shoot to plan for the Liberian people that the guy had everything under control. But look at now, one case entered Liberia. Look at how they are gone. Ghana, Nigeria, that is closer. Why people could not set up a quarantine center in Nigeria, where it has the international airport, that has less population? You're taking people to a densely populated area. Do that make sense? Do that make sense? No, it doesn't. Have people in isolated area that is not highly densely populated, so you can control those. You can contain those people and control them. But even with the one that show up, you're not even showing signs to take care of them. What would encourage other people to come forward? These are the questions that some of us are questioning the government. The policy is not working. They need to go back and start all over. This money business is what everybody's fighting for. Because when we hear the money name, they don't want to bring other people who help to build that team to have a better coordination. These are the areas that's suffering us. One person want to do all and leave the other people out. And this is why I think we are coming right back to this issue. Look at the person. Then the person mentioned in his speech that there were other government officials that came that bypassed the system. Why he decided to name Dr. Blama, and where are the other people? Where are the other people that the president mentioned in his speech? Other government officials came, but they bypassed the system. They should report themselves. Why he did not name these people? Where are they? So let me just break up. Let somebody come in.
Yeah. Okay, let me just read a couple of tweets here coming from Professor Joel, relative following the discussion. Hopefully, send a text message. Hopefully, we have the time to either call in and we can still bring her because of time schedule. There's, she's been reacting to some of it. You say, even as an advanced healthcare provider, I am still mandated and required to have my entire client to continue education requirement. But before that, I was responding exactly coordination. That is in reference to what both you and Cummings was saying. Coordination needs to be implemented, and not just only implemented, must be executed. In this case, I'm not sure whether that was done. Christopher, are we going wrong here?
Mr. Sue, I look, I didn't come here to play politics with the lives of Liberian people. I didn't come. I took off my political jacket before I walked into this to come on this show tonight. I said, look, Christopher, you're going over there. Don't play politics with the people of Liberia. Look, the Liberian people are suffering right now. I'm not going to blame anybody. Because while the great United States was not perfect in this fight, the great United States of America struggled at the beginning of this virus. But tonight, I think America...
Yeah, somebody please control the chat. We haven't... Yeah, somebody, please, if you're not talking, then just mute your phone, please.
I think America is heading in the right direction. I think America can now say they are prepared to fight this virus. Mr. So I'm not saying that. I didn't say don't coordinate. That's not the argument I'm putting forward yet. I didn't say don't pass down the information.
But it seems that you are unwilling to even admit that there were some missteps along the way.
What I'm arguing here is this.
Christopher.
Yeah, hold on.
No, you hold on. Wait for a second. What I'm saying, you are unwilling to even admit. No, don't worry. You're going to process it, reprocess it.
No, I said I don't want to lose my thought because I was emotional.
Okay, go ahead. But is there any willingness on your part for us to even admit the wrongs? Because that's how we're going to fix the system.
I can't admit no wrong because
nothing wrong was done.
I'm not even admitted. What I want to say here is this. Again, I'm saying that doctors, nurses, disease prevention specialists will not wait for Morovia to tell patients to wash their hands or to tell the general public to wash their hands. Just washing hands alone. These things were studied in a seminar or in a university. These guys went through training. These guys, they know what to do. Our men and women. They will not wait for the president. They will not wait for Morovia to tell somebody in Grand Basso.
Why do you think they have standards when it comes to this thing? Why do you think there's a standard?
Mr. Sue, the very first defense of any disease is wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands for 90 seconds. Wash your hands. You don't have to wait for Morovia to tell the people. Education, awareness, you don't have to wait for Morovia as a health practitioner in a part of Liberia to tell your people in your neighborhood. To even call town meeting. You don't have to wait. Look, we all are in this fight. All the radio stations, everybody, we all need to tell our people what to do. Look, my disappointment here is this.
Mm-hmm.
After Ebola, Liberia don't have an Ebola center to educate people on the next disease. Liberia they have hardly failed to build a center. And I hope this other government will build a center. A center just for information. In America here, for every disease that hit, the HIV get a center here that you go and get information every day because there's a possibility that disease will reoccur. There's a reoccurrence. It can happen. Now we got a new disease. Look, Mrs. Sue, look, the problem in our country, this is big. For example, Dr. Golden Galley left from office. The man has not even written a book to educate Liberians on how he fought this disease, what to do next when the next disease is. These are the books that people can use in America in university from doctors, people who are served in the field. The other thing in the healthcare industry or industry, they can go and read these things and learn from it. Now we are being hit with this coronavirus. It will go away. Nobody will write anything about it. That's how education is passed down from one generation to another generation. All of our professionals, when they leave completed. They don't write nothing. They don't leave nothing. They don't leave no education, nothing behind. And I'm not saying that this government did it right. I'm not saying that they are perfect here. I'm saying that before we even blame them, let's take the child from the water before we can slap the child on their bike. We got to fight this disease first. We got to find solution, prevent this thing. Before we can even criticize the government and say, Lord, this is what you should have done. You didn't do this one. You should have done this. After Ebola, you should have put measures in place. But we can be in this battle and we'll be playing politics and we'll be criticizing, we'll be finding blame, shifting blame left and right. I can say Liberia is in a better shape right now.
So here,
yeah,
okay, this is not a storytelling side here. So what do you think the government would have done this differently to have avoid this sort of conversation that we have in 30 seconds before I bring in the next person? Do you think they should have done it differently? Now, from what I'm monitoring here, on the 9th of March, there was a presidential committee set up for this coronavirus by the president. Interestingly, there are a few organizations that I see here. International Institute, World Health Organization, World Bank, UNICEF, the Ministry of Health, and the Public Health Institute. Do you think the president would have done it differently, or do you think the government would have done it, or why do you think that they would have done it differently?
You know, Mr. Sue, since December, since, let's say, since February or whatever, I've been writing, I've been telling our people how to bring awareness, information, all of these things. You know what pisses me off tonight is the way America got the information in December and they hid it from the public. And we were sitting down in school with people who were sick, coughing, people who were, even at my job. America knew about this disease since December. Never told anybody. Hid it from the general public. The thing we are dealing with today, it's been around since December in this country. All right? Liberia, I want to say that, look, our people are not perfect, but I'm proud of them. We have only, 2 suspected cases or wherever it is. But Mr. Sue, the level of awareness that everybody is encouraging right now, if we continue to work together, washing hands, informing our people about this deadly virus, I think Liberia will not suffer too much. I'm hopeful. I'm praying to God. I believe in the God I said that the people of Liberia will not suffer too much this time around if we keep on the pace. Information dissemination is very important. And as Mr. Gerald said, coordination, of course we all need coordination in every field, every profession. All right? But at the end of the day, people should not wait for Morovia to do the little things before Morovia comes to your aid. Before the central government comes to your aid, do small things.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Is that so?
Yeah. Comment. Okay, go ahead, and I will bring in the next number.
Okay. You know, I love what Chris said in closing. But the reason why some of us will talk and we keep talking, we take you, the late, may his soul rest in peace. The late Tanapole was now the most educated person in the lower house of parliament. But when the army warrant issue came up, people refused to coordinate. Had it not been for God with the issue of the army warrant, our people are going to lose their life. And the wrong information, the wrong coordination was going to lead to the death of thousands. That's why we're still talking. Tanapole was the man I will always remember. He said, you coordinate this thing. You coordinate this thing. The issue of the army warrant is serious. You coordinate. Came Ebola. Ebola, we saw the same thing. Lack of coordination. Lack of information dissemination. And we're seeing the same, we're seeing a replica of the same thing. I cannot say because Mr. So worked tonight and he used this council bowl. He used the council bowl. He signed or he played his closing signature tune. He leaves. I come, I will not even ask Mr. So, say, oh, Mr. So, since you're leaving, you know, how was the council bowl? If you encounter any problem with the callers, what is it that I need to do? And he's right. Gonagali then left. Nobody in our country, or in our typical Liberian setting, we have too many doctors. Like Dr. Slevin once said, most people have not written book yet that people will make reference to read some of those things. But that's what we are putting some corrective measures together and say, well, if those books were not written, if people never wrote any policy paper, let's start calling their attention now. Because there's a tendency in our country, Mr. So, every time there is an issue of money coming outside from donors to our country, there are certain people in government, they bend their back. You know how a crab will bend over a poop. They bend their back over the money and squander everything. And I will say this, I guess you follow me a lot, my teachings and preachings. I don't bite my tongue, I don't bite down, I don't blow. That's why maybe most of the political parties don't even want to bring me around a camp, because I speak truth to power. I don't bite down whether I like the president, whether I'm in love with the party. The party that deviates from its manifesto, I will bring the party attention to that manifesto. And I will say this, Mr. So, the money that people are jubilating for, okay, that 40 million, they're jubilating for. Anybody who squander a dime, the Bible says in Job chapter 20, verse 15, he swallowed riches and vomited, and the Lord will cast it out of his belly. You know how many people suffering in our country? You know how many people today going to bed without any good food? Our health sector is porous. Our borders are porous. And people jubilate over every little small thing, but do not take into consideration that we need to bring our leaders' attention to book on some of these issues. We will not forget about the days of the army war. We will not forget about the days of Ebola. So we cannot forget about the coronavirus. But one thing I want to bring Chris up to speed was China was not giving the right information, Chris. I when you have time, go over some of the documentary. The information that China was releasing out was coming in bits and pieces. It was coming from doctors and nurses. It was not coming from the government, because if you look at the historicity of the entire outbreak of the coronavirus, it came almost close to the time they used
came almost close to the
Actually,
time
the
of the
government
Lunar.
suppressed the information too. You remember the guy that even discovered, hey,
they
what happens
suppressed
to me
it.
at the end of the day? What happens? He ended up dying before they even took into consideration that, oh, there's something wasn't right going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're right about that. They suppressed, the Chinese government suppressed the information. They didn't want to know about it because, in China, the New Year, the Chinese New Year celebration is a big global event for them. They make a lot of money. Most of the people go back home that time. So they started suppressing the information. So America was not getting that kind of information like that. If you listen to Donald Trump today, even if you listen to the New York governor, today you'll get to understand that America was already not getting the kind of information they needed. So the information that was coming to them was not information that they could capitalize on and say, okay, yeah, we got the right information. They were still making research. They were still trying to get the information. Unlike our country today, what are we doing? Look at the Ministry of Information, Culture, and Tourism. Look at ELBC. A state radio from the day of Ellen, they're not even up. I don't think that transmitter is about 3 or 4 kilowatt transmitter, 4,000 or 3,000 kilowatt transmitter.
Okay.
And with this kind of situation we're dealing with,
let me bring.
the government need to do well.
All
They're
right.
trying, but they need to do well. But they will not eat that 40 million. They will not squander that money.
Why do you think
that
they want to?
I know for free.
Why do you think they want to do eat the money? Why do you think they want to eat the money? Okay, hold on 1 second here. Let me bring in someone here to pull it into context here. Professor Joel is here with us. Let me just bring you it. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, good. This is Liberia man said this is your area here. So we try to figure out not a matter of blame game, but to see what went wrong, probably how they would have done it differently. So I know you've been listening, you've been tweeting here and there as well. So what do you make of it?
I mean, it's difficult for me to actually state, and it would just be my opinion of without having proper facts or stuff as far as what went wrong. But from a nursing point of view or educational point of view, although whenever there's an outbreak or epidemic of anything, everybody needs to play an active role in it. But the main, as far as not necessarily laying blame or anything, again, with viruses or any disease, everyone has to play a role in it in order to protect themselves, family members, and the community at large. So we all have a part to play in it. But as far as information being disseminated and critical information too at that rate, that needs to not just come from the health department, but all of those collaboration and coordination will usually hear. And I will only speak from the state part of it, and it's a little bit difficult without, as the current or the previous talker was stating, that it makes it difficult if they don't have the proper logistics and all those necessary equipment from Liberia. So over here, usually what happens is through, like I said, through collaboration and coordination, that will happen from the state level as well as federal and local health departments. And you'll even have educational agencies involved in disseminating those information, as well as elected officials, again, schools, or any type of potential transmission of that about that disease or virus needs to be put out there to prevent the spread of it. And again, like I say, it takes I guess the saying goes, it takes a village, and basically that's what happens. So in order for the lay person or the common person to have knowledge of those information, it has to come down also too from those that have been trained and educated But at the same time, with that being said, regardless, even as a advanced practice nurse, we still, like I stated, we still need to have, it's mandated that we do mandatory in-services, um, continuing education classes to keep up with current goings or researches around the world, what's going. Like I said, I may be limited in Liberia because they don't have the access to proper internet or even the information. Like over here, you can have access to not just CDC or the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDCP. Also, you can have the World Health Organization and various other states and local health organizations, or even entities that will disseminate information and also do teaching, required teaching that will be necessary in order to prevent those spread of disease, whether it's educational on a primary, secondary, or tertiary level for prevention of any of those diseases. And that can include, like the other quarter says, the basic way of preventing any spread of disease or viruses. Again, like I would say, is breaking that chain of infection, which is basically that sixth link chain of infection. And the best or optimal way of doing that is, yes, hand washing. That's one of the best way. Again, they have the hand sanitizer, and also vaccination. But again, that can be controversial because there's different ideology about vaccination and stuff. But those are all things that is placed in case of any outbreak. And you see, as of recently, where there have been several research out there to try to bring up some type of prevent or cure somewhat to this virus. And their latest research that was done, again, is like with the chloroquine that we commonly use in places like Liberia or Africa for malaria, and that is showing some type of potential as being an effective treatment for the virus. So again, with research and educating people, and also keeping some type of paperwork or trail that, like the corner was saying, to document things that way, if something happens again, they can refer to those references or referrals. Again, even if they don't have it, I think there should be something in place from the health department that can go ahead and put information on the internet, because with this virus that's going around, it makes it difficult for people to do, go from location to location educating people, because we'll have to maintain the social distancing and all of that in order to curb or lessen the or lessen the spread of this infection, because it's spreading so rapidly. I think the latest information that I looked up or read, they have estimated that over 10,000 people within the United States have been tested or there's a confirmed cases of the virus. But then again, that could be underestimation, because again, is not, to me, I don't think it's an accurate number out there to really pinpoint or identify the true confirmed cases, because they're not testing just anybody. You have to show signs and symptoms, and again, with limited testing kits and all of that, makes it difficult to actually get the best statistics out there. But they're doing the best that they can do. Even in the United States, they're still, so not just in Liberia, throughout the whole continent or throughout the whole globe, everyone is still struggling in order to try to grasp a hold of what's going on globally, because like I said, it's shutting everything down, not just from a pandemic part of it or the health and epidemiology part of it. You see also is wreaking a havoc on goods and everything. So it makes it difficult for, you have healthcare workers who are working in inadequate supplies and not even knowing how to protect themselves, yet alone the public at large. So it makes it difficult. So this is not necessarily a blame game or who to blame right now. Even if it's a Liberian government, United States, Italy, right now we all just need to work together to try to lessen this disease because again it's killing people rapidly, and Italy has just jumped over China with the highest death rate. So people are dying. It's not a joke, and we shouldn't be pointing fingers, but again there's certain mistakes that have been made throughout the whole war with this disease. So the best thing to do is to work effectively together to help curb those the spread of this disease to make it so again we can all go out there and have normal lives, because this is like have basically tripled the whole world. Everyone is like
Unbelievable.
immobilized, can't even do nothing. So it's and not just that, but you have people dying that just it's disheartening to look at, and especially to see places like Africa, Liberia on the news with it, especially with the limited resources that we have. It's sad.
So quickly here, let me just tap into it. It's a difficult thing because we've been hearing this sort of self-turret or I don't know whether it's a medical or some sort of medical report that suggests that. I say, well, don't worry, the sun can be here, the sun will soon start shining, as soon as the sun come, that will be the end of it. Is that something believable? Is that something to count on?
We'll say that again. I'm
They
sorry.
always said people they are saying because the humidity in the country there is always hot, so they are saying that it won't survive there.
I mean, not yes, the virus or the viruses live within a sinus in the back of the nasal cavity, and within that region, that's where it's usually more of a cool to a cold temperature. So that's where it stays in there until I think few days. Then it gets into the respiratory tract. But some of the things that they're saying as far, and I think this is what you're alluding to, drinking warm fluids and also steam. I guess like the steam, inhaling of the hot steam that would help. What that does is just it not necessarily kills the virus, but it kind of what's the word I'm trying to look for? Oh,
You
I
minimize
just
it,
lost my
or
train of thought. But what it does is it will not make it to more potential, or it doesn't have that potency that it have if you use all of those things. But still, that does not is not 100%. So you can still get in. There's another conspiracy theory going around that Africans or black can get it, and that has been just you can tell that's not even true, because even the actor Idris just was tested positive for it as well. So I don't think age, I mean not age, ethnicity has anything to do with it. And again, that's what sometimes people get carried away as far as trying to pinpoint or diagnose specific viruses to certain population. Not to say it doesn't happen. You'll see a higher prevalence rate in certain with certain viruses or certain illness in certain population, but the idea that no one black don't necessarily gonna get the disease or virus because of their ethnicity is not accurate. And those lack of information, or I guess this falseness is not true, and it just makes it will increase the rate or the prevalence of the disease if people will listen to all of those not so true or falsified information. So again, that's why again, when I say health teaching and education is very essential in things that in its prevention of disease or spread of these disease, so that again the public will be better, have the better knowledge and comprehension in order to protect themselves and family members. It's the same thing again with AIDS and all of those, even hypertension, cardiovascular disease. You have to educate your patient about the disease process as well as signs and symptoms that they can look that patient would present with, and also treatment and then also preventing the spread of those diseases will help curb those incidents that you will see or prevalence within the society. So education is very important within any illness or any disease process. So we need to educate also, and that will also start from the very young to the very old.
Wow. Okay. Just hold on one second here. I know folks been listening here attentively. Pa George.
I'm sorry?
No, I said hold on one second. Mr. George, are you there, or Mr. Kumis? Uh-oh. Who did I put off here? Mr. George, are you there? Amos George? Okay, Christopher.
Yeah, Mr. Sue.
Okay, and do you have...
I just want to say, I'll just leave, and I just want to thank both gentlemen for their input, which is very vital, and again, all come together or work together to help. Not just, maybe they will be helping more specifically in Liberia as compared to me over here, but working together, because the statistics we can find will be also inputted into the World Health Organization and various health department agency as well. So that way is another way of being able to track the disease process or the virus as well. So thank you both gentlemen. I appreciate you guys. Have a blessed day.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Christopher.
Wow. Yeah, Mr. Sue. Wow. Yeah, I want to say thank you to our guest sister. She said it all. I just, Mr. Sue, what's so saddening is that I mean, we got a lot of work to do still in Liberia. Because this is not something it's not fun. I don't know why people taking dying business to be fun. Why people joking with death? This is a serious deadly virus. The way you and myself seeing it, I don't know if that the same eye our brothers and sisters back home looking at it. So I mean, social media made it easier for people to get information. People saying that stay 6 feet. In fact, some doctors are telling you 12. That's because when somebody sneezes, the time it will take to get to you, it will be gone. So 12 instead of 6, some people taking 12. We just gotta follow these simple things that the healthcare professionals are telling us. Wash your hands, keep your distance, social distancing. All these things is necessary, And I just hope that, our people, our government, our professionals back home will learn from whatever measures that they put in place. When this don't work, you got to reassess, and come up with something different. In fact, I heard today the doctors, the professionals in America saying that we'll learn from this disease. We'll learn from this virus, the mistakes, the things that we did better, things that wasn't done good. We'll learn from it just in case. If this thing come by, we can know what to do. In fact, this virus we're talking about here, America knew about it since 1960. But it wasn't called 19, But human coronavirus been around since the 60s. It's just that the form it came in today is so different, it's so powerful, it's so strong. But I know this country will learn. I know that professionals here will find a solution for in the future. They will find a solution. I know they will find a vaccine.
Right.
Our people in Liberia, Mr. Sue, it's sad. Like our sister just echoed a few minutes ago. When the health minister leaves his position or he retires, Mr. Sue, just to write a simple book that will be taught in our schools. From Ebola, the experience from Ebola. I don't know if we have any book in our university books or anything from the medical sector.
Do you see that as a factor to some of these problems that we have? Do you see that as a factor to some of these things we are talking about?
I mean, if we have these things out there, And if we are teaching these things out there, then when the next disease hits, people will know what to do. Wash your hands, stay away, keep your distance, all these things. America here, when if something hits, professional will write and put it in the library. They will write and teach it in their schools. That's how education goes. We got to keep educating the people. But when our leaders then leave their area, lawyers when they leave their field, they don't write. Journalists, when they leave, they're supposed to write. A police director, when they leave, they're supposed to write books, so that the next men that coming in our position will read and say, "Oh, this is what this guy did right. This is what he did. I can learn from this. I can go left. I can go right." Just for reading his book.
Kumis.
It's just sad. It's just sad.
Yep.
Look at this book I was reading. It's called.
Okay, Christopher, hold on one.
Officer who retired.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Christopher. Call out. Let me just bring in this new voice into this thing. I want to welcome all of the folks, President Masons of Ajat, my own friend and brother, Rudolph Cooper Jr. right here, John Crate, and all of those people, President Mayet, Lady T from the Garden City, that there are some stringent measures in there. But hold on, let me just bring in a new voice into this here. 484 number 7354. Caller, good evening.
Yeah, how are you? This is James Jensen.
Okay, brother, how are you this evening?
I'm good.
Okay, I guess you've been following the discussion here. We all try to figure out as to how we can get this rallied around government. I point out some of the mistakes in that and see whether they can a lesson learned from that and to get us going, because this is no opposition to a ruling party. This citizen and that citizen. This is something that can harm anybody. Anybody can be the victim of it. So you've been listening to the conversation here. What's your version of what's your side of the story?
That's a generalized discussion you just outlined, but I would just want to draw your attention to current event that has to do with COVID-19 and the government-owned effort thus far. What I'm more interested in tonight, for which I call on your show, is to see or call on government to be not just proactive, but to be prepared to give factual information on COVID-19 as it has entered Liberia from their own public information. The reason why I'm saying this is because I monitor the press briefing, the Ministry of Information press briefing, and I think there are information that seems to be confusing.
Inconsistent information, is that what you're saying? There's no consistency in the information?
Yes. And what do I mean by that? The government has said, got this Nathaniel Blama that knows with the virus, right? And if you monitor that press briefing, the chief medical officer, I don't know his name,
and Dr. Fala.
He clearly stated in that briefing that indeed there is no testing available in Liberia. In fact, they have not tested a single person in Liberia thus far. All right? So then, if you see that, there are a lot of questions that came to my mind when I listened to him. All right? And then you look at Nathaniel Blama's situation and also his, I think someone that connected to him. Now, this thing is not to blame government. This global issue, everyone trying to find solution to the problem. All right, everybody want to identify the situation. So right now, in my view, the government need to say whether or not they have testing kits available to be either distributed to major medical centers right in Monrovia, and then inform the citizenry that when you have symptoms, go to JFK, go to Cadillac Hospital, go to ERW, go to a Redemption Hospital.
There must be in order you are saying there must be a designated site that people can go to.
Right, instead of the team that he had. That is because you know why? when these informations are not managed properly, when people are not educated and directed to where they can go when they have symptoms, you can't, I mean, it might get worse. All right. And this is not a wishful thinking. It might get worse as we have seen even in the America that we live in other countries. So the best I think right now, government herself need to continue their strategy must be a continuous process, and they must be prepared to inform Liberia on a day-to-day basis. Personally, for me, I'm disappointed with President Weah. He should be one person that will use his, he has the biggest platform. You myself will get on Facebook. But the old ladies are sitting down in Bogonjide or are sitting down somewhere in Bonjaman or are sitting down in Bapolu or somewhere, they don't have this kind of a medium. So he must use his medium. Let him follow the example of other world leaders. Daniel Trump right now, he was overlooking this thing, but right now he's on top of it. He's having a briefing,
Even though he's still calling it a Chinese virus.
right. All right. But the reality has caught up with him. So, I mean, I'm saying this, Weah himself, he cannot sit and be quiet on this kind of situation. If his people are not telling him, if he doesn't have to say it, but there's nothing wrong with the president using the biggest platform. When the president says he's giving a briefing, every other person want to listen to the news. We want to monitor him. All right. So I'm saying this so that maybe if someone else are listening tonight, let it take cue from these activities.
I don't know. I have called the executive director, but to be honest here, the communication chief. But what I see happening in Liberia from my own experience and from the word there, I gotta get somebody up before I bring you on. Is let me see. Okay, let me get some few people here to make their quick statement here. Then I can bring other people. Oh, Joelle, I think said she was leaving. From what I see, people seems to be protective of their job, so it makes it difficult to get people to speak out. Since last we established contact with the public health Dr. Fala, the communication chief, and we've been talking here and there. You remember yesterday there was something in circulation where they said there was a certificate and that this guy he's no longer president. I don't buy those sort of information. This is why I like to get my information from the source, direct people that are involved, people that are in charge. And look at it, reach out. The communication chief, he was very spontaneous. He said, I know that's, we don't even know that's a fake.
Alfonso, let me emphasize this. The chief medical officer's clarification today in that briefing, I mean, people, I trusted him. I mean, he was very genuine. He was very truthful to the issue. And I think these are information Liberians should be waiting for. The media should push the government officials. People shouldn't use this thing as covered up.
My dear brother, you can force the people. That's the whole thing about it because
no. The media can do the best it can. The media. Right now, you must say right here. All right, Donald Trump. People lashing at Donald Trump. At the end of the day, today, what Donald Trump is doing, he's almost like on a weekly basis giving briefing on what is going on. Initially, he was taking it lightly, but as he spoke, his utterances were not receptive as to the reality of what was going on, and the media kept pushing the line until today. Donald Trump himself he's very much on top of this.
You say a funny thing today. You say a funny thing today, right? Donald, one in a movement he says one thing, the next day he said, well, all they talking in the next 5 years, when out of here, we'll see who you will be.
Yeah, I know.
So like is it not sure?
But generally, and what I really believe, the Liberian media, they've been doing well. But I think this is a crisis time, and they need to do it. It's not about hating government. It's not about going against Weah. It's about if Weah and the government provide factual information, the media will pick it up, and then everybody will be informed. As I speak, Liberians are overlooking this thing because they are not totally informed yet. All right, and you can't wait until it turns to the Ebola situation.
And that's a dangerous part of it for which we are talking. Before I bring in the next person, today our correspondent in Bond County had a interview with the superintendent, and I was very shocked because yesterday I had an interview with the communication chief at Phoebe Hospital. There are a lot been going on in Phoebe Hospital. There is no preparations. There is nothing there. Banga just next within the proximity of Mosorado or Morovia. I talked to people in Sando today. Nothing. And I
You know
heard
what?
the
You know what is that?
superintendent. And I heard the superintendent. Hold on 1 second. I heard the superintendent saying they're going to start. And a car coming down. They're going to start taking people temperature. As soon as you get temperature, they will hold you for 2 days. So where? So if you get temperature, does that mean that you have? So why are they going to? What is the determinant? What are they going to use using? And they have not. Nothing has trickled down to them to give them specific instruction. That's what I was talking about.
Why? You know why the people are thinking that way? The misinformation is coming from the media team. Not the media team, the government health team. Go back to that video clip, that briefing clip. You will get to realize that the people are not speaking in unison. And you have to listen to carefully, because right now, screening is not the testing for this virus. You can't screen somebody. I can't get running.
So and I no running and they're going to put you down for 2 days. You're not going through banga.
You can't get coronavirus. So people will become very ignorant to these things, and they will do the worst of the situation. We pray nothing go bad in that country.
We don't want that, and that's why we want to create this sort of open conversation.
The medical team, the government medical team should now begin to liaise with the different hospitals. This is a crisis time. It's not to say, okay, this is for a private hospital and this is not. This is the time that their meetings should extend to the medical authorities. Call Redemption Hospital, call ELWA, call Canley Hospital, call Redemption Hospital. All of these people. And all of them should strategize together. If you have masks, if you have any other means to help the people, send it to the different centers. Right now, I'm talking about 15 million now. The 15 million now, they must begin now to budget some of these 15 million to the different hospitals. It's a crisis situation. If you give somebody five, whatever, or $1 million a hospital and give them directive, look, we want people to get masks, we want people to get, facilities, things that can help the Liberian people. So when Liberian people, again, you give them directive, go to hospitals. You get cold, go to the hospital and be diagnosed. Do they have kids? You must don't know whether they have kids. Was Nathaniel Blamont tested? From what I've heard, no. He wasn't tested.
Then that's a problem, because then that's where the processing of the information comes from. Okay.
You cannot give confusion that someone was screened and someone was diagnosed with the virus. And then you come and you say you have not tested anybody scientifically. At the end of the day, you're confusing Liberians. And I think they need to do more than what they're doing right now. And the media should push these people. It's not about, wanting to please anybody. It's about crisis.
Right.
Right now, Russia has just identified one person. Russia is taking some stringent measure. America is taking measure. You must say right now, I just come from driving the mountain. The whole city is almost a lot.
The city is everywhere. Measure. Even right now, you go in a store, you buy in Toller Road, they ask you, you're going to take certain amount. So that's to show how serious it is.
People,
okay.
If they can reach the different groupings, everybody is about Liberia. We are here. There's one thing that let me emphasize before I drop the line with you. The remittances from this country to Liberia are going to be reduced. So that's going to put more pressure on the government. All right?
They're going to put pressure on you, sir, because
every day, every month, we're going to reduce it because we also will not be working. So what do you think is going to be happening?
Right. I'm concerned that based on the information, let me bring in the person here. Thank you so much. Let me bring in the other.
I'm not talking about me here.
And not just only here, Christopher. Okay, hold on. Okay, thank you very much. Let me bring in this number here, 215-705. I'm concerned from the folks that I talked to today in Sano, and even in Grange, and I'm quite sure it's a similar story in all of the other counties and stuff. Because I heard the superintendent Bon County talking that I would take the car, I would take the car key and put it in my office. So it's because no specific instruction is being passed to those people, to these health professionals, and they are doing the limited information or limited resources that they have, which we want to really employ them for what they are doing. But we are saying here the process must be well coordinated, and that seems not to be the case. I was shocked when I talked to the guys in Sando today. They said, well, nothing. Everybody doing their own thing. Everybody doing their own thing because they have not received specific instruction. And our people are always in denial. Like the Ebola, they said our Helen Johnson makeup, we were using formaldehyde and all kinds of stuff. So the information is still nowhere. And one of the groups that are doing well, the Circular Theater Radio, that Christopher Finn is doing an extraordinary job. Let me bring in this number here, 215-7058. Good evening, caller.
Oh, thank you, Mr. So. This is President Mayer
Okay.
calling from Pennsylvania.
Okay, Mr. President, good evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm calling. I was just listening in, but I decided to call tonight.
Mhm.
I just like your format and the way you started this process by saying, let us take politics out of what is happening globally today in the world. The epidemic that we're talking about today that is in Liberia, it didn't just come from Liberia as we used to see Ebola. This is a global thing. Even in America, where you and myself live today, I have a business now that the governor of this state is asking that we close all our restaurants. Hear me?
Mm.
This state, Pennsylvania governor is saying that we should close all businesses in the state of Pennsylvania as of tomorrow. Hear
Wow.
me? If it's not health related, it shouldn't be open. We got New Jersey that came up with their own rules since a week ago that all restaurants and bars, everything should close down.
Right.
It's the same thing that is happening in Liberia today. When I see people are questioning, we agree. Even the Donald Trump that we just spoke about, which is the president of this country, every time you see Donald Trump go to speak, he will only tell you the measure that the government is trying to put in place, and it will bring in professional. Donald Trump don't speak on the epidemic of what's happening. He only come and bring in rules and laws that need to govern what the professionals are saying.
Mm.
So for every time you see Donald Trump speaking out there, you will see the FDA director, you will see the health minister, you will see a police director, or you will see the fire chief, and all of these things. Standing right behind him, and for every time he speaks, he will refer to one of these people to come and give their own advices how to see how they can unfold these things. So when I see Liberians are coming up, even in America today, they don't even have kids kit of diagnosing people. The few that they got, there's the few people that they are testing. They are saying they don't even have that much. They are even icing the citizenry that if you think you have the symptoms, you can turn yourself in to go to be tested. But they are not going to test the general population. But Liberians are saying, oh, okay, they tested this director that came from Europe, but they are saying, oh, when Liberia took the kids from the testing to say, oh, he has the coronavirus, are we worrying about whether he was tested or whether we had the proper tool to test him, or we are saying that this man was diagnosed with this and let us follow on from there? Whether they send 2 or 3 kids in Liberia, the government don't need to come and tell you, say, oh, we got 1 kid or we got 2 kids, that what we use to test this man. We are seeing that this man is diagnosed with this symptom or this virus. Let us move on from there and see what best advices that we can give, that when we come on these educational shows that you guys have now, where we think our best advice to our people, our nurses, our practitioner nurses in Liberia, the what best that we can help them with. We got nurses, we got doctors in this country that are from Liberia. You know what I mean? That they can come on this show and try to impart into our brothers and sisters back home. But for us to come here and be playing the blame game, today I heard some other guys on their shows talking about the police director was not the right person to go out there to go be educating people what to do. Where are we coming from with all of these things? The health minister had a press conference to educate Liberians. The police director talked from there and decided, okay, well, I will go in the street. From what I learned from the nurse practitioners and the doctors, I'm going to go out there and educate our people. We're going to blame the messenger. You hear me? So my thing here, from the beginning of your show, when you said, let us not bring politics into this thing, that's what I decided to call. Liberians just need to wake up, like what my brother just said, who left the line. We are the one that been supporting our economy. We got brothers and sisters back home there. We can call them and advise them too. And then people who they live with within the community there, or those that have people in government, they can call and give their own advices. Let us start today. We said it was 1 or 2 cases in Ivory Coast. Are we asking, are you seeing Ivorian on TV asking, or whether they had the right testing kit to come up with that one corona a patient that they talked about that was diagnosed.
But okay, Mr. President.
On TV,
Mr.
I was
President.
watching on one of these shows where the people in Freetown was complaining, those that came from Europe and that of America that went to Freetown. They sent them to a quarantine center where there's no nurse, there's nobody there, no food. The lady was complaining on Facebook today and calling on the president of Freetown.
It's everywhere.
They just sent them to a place where it's dirty, and the woman is saying that we will even be affected here of the coronavirus more than even what we had when we came here. You hear me? Let us try to be fair enough with our people. Let us take politics out of these things.
So
let us see where we need to speak the facts.
Absolutely.
And I enjoy your show today when they went to Bon County and interviewed the superintendent. I'll follow all of these things today.
Right.
Yes.
This is what we want to do. We want to be getting outside of Morovia, and because there are some people having some reality.
Someone would need to start contributing to your shows because we need to create this awareness. The superintendent said, well, if a car is supposed to be taking, normally if you are putting 8 people in your car and the car is designed for 3 person in the back and 2 in the front, the driver and the passenger, so that's 5 person in the car. Those are the numbers that the car need to take. You don't need to put additional 4 more person there because you want to make profit. So these are the awareness that the people are giving, and that's the same thing that we're going through in America here. They say keep 6 feet, within the reach of
social distance.
So everything that we are doing, that we are going through in America here, these are the same thing that our brothers and sisters are enforcing back home there. And where we get our resources from America. Even the testing case that you're talking about now today, you don't have to come from America here, or you come from China, or you come from Europe to go to Liberia. So these are the things that we need to be praying for so that these things can go there and talking about that.
Yeah,
we don't have doctors in the country there to go and scientists there to go and come up with our testing kits and all of those things.
Yes, breaking news.
The European Union and the international community that we are depending on. So let us start crying on them, start crying on Liberian government, who is that trying to do their best. All the information that they are gathering from the international community, that's what they are putting out there to our people. So when this kind of epidemic come out, let us look at the reality of it and leave the politics out of it. Whether you like whether you like the information minister, whether you like the police director, or what they are doing, let us try to enforce our own things that you guys are doing on the LPRO. I want to commend you and all the shows that I know around here. Let us try to educate one another instead of just continue to blame. I listened to some guy today laying down. I know whether in the hospital bed he was lying down talking about Korea is gone, Korea is dead, Korea is that. And,
the only way, thank you so much. Our own frustration sometimes when we reach out to these people with the help to sensitize and to get this information, because and sometimes they too give rise to all of these talking points, because when you say one thing, and that's what the processing of information. Look at this new alert just receiving right now on the phone. This is a very serious. We're in a crisis here. Californian government orders 40 million to lockdown in California as we speak. Just CNN just getting the alert here, and they are saying the government tells residents to stay at home after the projection of 56% of the state will be infected with the coronavirus in just 8 weeks. So this is a very serious crisis, very unprecedented. It's not an easy thing here that we are going through.
Yeah, Mr. So, when you're talking about California, it was just about a week ago when California put that in place, that everybody should be quarantined in, how do you call it, it was like...
No, I'm just only saying how serious is it. This is not a play thing here. We just all got to put all our time and energy into it to reach out to people and tell them.
Yeah, your frustration is where I'm speaking from. When California said that everybody should be on lockdown, no public appearance. Yesterday, the CNN were reporting that people were in California jogging. Some people
they were on the beach. People were on the beach.
You hear me? Even in Philadelphia here now today, that all of these things were passed and people will not stay enforcing them. And now the governor came out today and say, as for tonight, 8 o'clock, all businesses should close and they will start patrolling the streets, and the police will be in the street. So, like I said again, as we are all saying here, Americans are not taking, a lot of us are taking this thing serious. Yeah, I mean, even within our own communities that we find ourselves, people are still grouping, people are still celebrating birthday parties in basements and halls. You hear me? But if the government begin to start enforcing these things, now if you go to Liberia again, if the government started to start, like the police director was doing, please, if you enter a store and two persons is ahead of you, please wait outside when the two people get outside before you go there.
Before you go there. Okay, let me take a quick break here, Brother Wait, and I will be right back, guys. Let me take a quick break and I will be right back.
African Star and Liberia Public Radio bring you this news commentary on the breakdown of compliance with health and safety rules in Liberia, which have now led to a confirmed case of the coronavirus in the West African country. The drama surrounding the disclosure of the first confirmed case of the coronavirus known as COVID-19 in Liberia on Monday, March 16, 2020, was not a big surprise. The WEA administration's admission that an official of government, the executive director of the country's Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, had tested positive for the highly contagious COVID-19 virus raised the spectacle of the following critical concerns. 1. The lack of discipline and respect for health protocols in Liberia and in Africa. 2. The perpetuation of the big shot syndrome in Liberia and Africa, by which officials have their own set of rules. 3. The Liberian government's long-term dependence on foreign technical capacity and assistance in times of crises. 4. Centralization of materiel and resources in the capital, Monrovia. And 5. Lack of national leadership on the containment of the coronavirus in the country. African Star and Liberia Public Radio last week warned Africa about the urgency of instituting clear and effective prevention and containment measures. In Liberia, since March 13th, an unknown number of persons have been exposed to the individual who tested positive. If the allegations are true, then it was totally reckless for the individual who has been identified by the government as the confirmed COVID-19 case to have ignored compliance with health and safety guidelines at the airport. It is a well-known fact that public servants who occupy high office in Liberia and parts of Africa often flaunt public laws because they consider themselves better and privileged above ordinary citizens. Even after a positive test and medical evacuation from his home became necessary, the individual in question chose to write the protocol of how he wanted to be taken to the hospital, drive behind an ambulance. This is gross recklessness on the part of this public official, and he should know better. Additionally, there was no expectation that clear public health protocols will be implemented were a COVID-19 suspect identified for quarantine. Citizens who choose not to be quarantined can expect no repercussions because a weak national health system and political leadership are distracted, and national policies are party-driven rather than people-driven. The consequence is that the poor and vulnerable in Liberia will be hugely affected for some time. African Star and Liberia Public Radio are citing the Liberian health authorities and political leadership over incompetence and deteriorating governance. It is unacceptable that many citizens have now become exposed to the risk of contracting COVID-19. Citizens must peacefully register their outrage and reconsider support for the type of political leadership that continuously forgets who they work for, the people of Liberia. African Star and Liberia Public Radio offer the following recommendations. Identify and approve emergency budget. Designate appropriate quarantine areas across Liberia and inform citizens accordingly. Create quarantine information exchange mechanism to facilitate communications between quarantined individuals and family members, and this must include feeding and medical care for quarantined individuals. Establish an emergency budget to fund disease surveillance, training, treatment, and post-treatment counseling. We call for an independent financial management team to handle the disbursement, distribution, procurement of material, and audit of resources allocated for the emergency program. That the Liberian government will undertake an aggressive public awareness campaign on the coronavirus. Provide regular update on containment of the disease. And as part of our public service commitment, the African Star and Liberia Public Radio will make available their platforms to enhance public education and campaign so that together we defeat this pandemic. This news commentary is a collaboration between African Star and Liberia Public Radio.
Ablion, Yambla and Nuyen, Waya is a Jim. Work here, none nismu. Na cafe beyond nismu. Waya apple desmundo, desmond, there's more apple a ju. None nismu. De quoi? Waya is a Jim, Ablion. A bar modi, Waya, a coyon de bar, a blia, she blew a cream. One Chanino, one Shinwa, Waya the elsewhere. They are rua janyo me and Chani Blanc Kenya, associated be. Egadon, Itazuno, no America, a way on the bar, a blia, and rua janache, they borrowing tea. I see so in there. Baki. Arch away poor, and one rua, more concao, and bamondio, or pomache wayo, or drequao, boyan with the bow, boyan one yao, a bamondio. Careful, more concao. Ablion crib, monavlu, monlua, more cry conca. Ablion, indeed, clawe, emolucia, cayanu, je escablo away, at the bar, no, je waiting, indeed, clawion lucia. Ablion, no boquatoye. Boyon quatoe, non shago, on shadie, e wuri away, boquatoe. They all giant said go. Bob the blie. Ablion, is where soin, de quoi? De sopo quoi? De saflin, quoi? Do meaning your dugedi, the quadre. Ablion, or bake. Boyon the bar. Non, on s'est à dire, one wait time, wait someone, but yeah, body bar. Ablion. Bon, quoi, with the bon son, quoi, poet, One go with dear. Bonyon won't nya no on ya. As ya je we so boje bon wonya. As a yinimo. Bo no wuri ba de boyan de so. Kwatu de boyan de so. No wonya this boyan de so. It's where so one go with dear. De quoi? De saflen quoi? De sobo quoi?
Well,
Abion.
folks, my phone's
Nyambla
so
nuye.
right here this
Boya
evening.
is here Jim.
This is what we try to do
Work
here
here na
to
nismu.
keep the community aware
Na
of
cafe
some of
be
the
yan.
things that are happening.
Nismu.
This
Where
is,
apple
this
desmu
fight
desmu
is
des
from all
moi
of us.
apple
We have to
edu.
do everything
Na
possible we
nismu.
can to make sure
De quoi?
that
Boya
we
is here Jim.
do
Abrion.
the right thing.
Aba
So,
modi.
folks,
Boya e kwa yon de
again, let's
ba
take heed.
blia
Let's
si blo
fight
kri.
this virus.
Wa chani nyon wa shin wa nyon. Boya de eswe. De ablu a janyo mi ane chani blo kri ni an. Aso se de be. Egadon États-Unis no America e kwa yon de ba blia.
So we here
En
at
rua
Liberia
jana
Public
che
Radio,
de
we're
borunti.
doing everything possibly we can to get this sort of public awareness, public outreach. Now, when we're inside Grand, you didn't talk the crown old man there. Old man say, you know what? The people not listening. The people not listening. So I want to get this announcement going to my own vernacular. And now I see this town chief, the chief from Grand County. For those of you, on a serious note, under the sound of my voice, we all have taught. We are already feeling the pain. So just imagine what is going on in Liberia. I don't know about your state, but there's a lot of regulations already in place. Some places you go get toilet roll now, they tell you to buy only one or buy only two and stuff. It's terrible. So we must do everything possible we can to prevent, to protect ourselves. Safety comes first in everything. Right now I'm keeping one or two packs of gloves in my car. You go into gas station, filling out tank. Those are possible places. Imagine how many fingers, how many hands going on that gas handle. Going in the grocery shop or whatever shop, punching your debit card pin. Think about it. How many fingers going on that part? Get a glove right now. If you don't have it, find it, buy it, and keep it. You have to do everything possible that you can to help yourself. And we are looking out there. If you are here from Nima, from Maryland, from Sano, to wherever, do an audio recording, then send it to us. We want to do this to create another awareness, not just only sit down here and talk English, but we want to send this out and get it out there to the people. At least somebody somewhere that will interpret it to their mother, to their old folks, to get this information going. This is not about George Weah will be the victim. There is no victim. There's no victor. I would say generally, everybody going to be the victim of it. Generally. So there's no victor in this whole thing here. We all will be victimized or will be hurt if this is not contained. So we all have a responsibility to make sure that everything is okay. Comfort say, well, African monkey got Ebola. Okay. They want here. All right. So that means there will soon be going here. But I have my dear friend and veteran, one of the person that stimulated me and I really prop me up to do what I'm doing here. Gibson Giroux is here this evening. Mr. Gerald, good evening. Gibson, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Alfonso. How you doing there?
Okay, good. It's a good honor and privilege. Like I said, you are one of the person. I see you as one of my mentors. You were punching me. You gotta get this thing going. Well, I send it, you twist it. Say no, it's not this way. So I mean,
you are grown now, my man.
Yeah. So
you are grown up now. So that one.
There you go. The learning does not have an ending, and I really appreciate. Even though we are deaf, and I always respect you. You respect me, even if I different with you, I differ with you on things here.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Look, this is the situation we are in. This is unprecedented, Gibson. Never have we seen this here. See what even this great country is going through, the global war, and then think about Liberia. How the heck can this be contained? What can we do beyond the pale to get this information to our people. Our people are stubborn. They are high like rock. Only ring they can run for. Gun said they don't run from it. When the fire gun, they want to see where the bullet coming from.
Absolutely, Alfonso. First of all, let me say thanks to old man Clyde Conker. You know, I listened to I listened to Clyde Conker and I couldn't stop laughing, you know. Especially when it came to a point where he
Those
said,
are one there. They want one the old man he for the problem. The CDC, I know how CDC posted don't put your mouth in somebody, but where the Tanchi came from with the other one year, or he get adding his own. But that's good anyway. That's part of that's a social distancing they're talking about. We should keep it.
Absolutely. So Clyde Conker, he's a very interesting old man, you know. But look, on the whole, Alfonso, this evening I was giving the statistics from country to country. And just before when I went on air, it was 235,000. And when I came from on air, it was already 270,000.
This is unbelievable.
I'm like, are you kidding? I mean, it's kind of growing rapidly. You know, Alfonso, the attitude of Liberians today, I don't know whether it's been like that anyways for a long time. I am reading on social media, and people are saying, including lawmakers, and say that George Weah is doing this to get money. I mean, Alfonso, I don't understand. What do they intend to achieve out of this? For someone to say that there is no coronavirus. In fact, George Weah and Blama, they consulted each other so Blama can go.
Gibson, the conspiracy theory is in this great country. So what you think about it? I don't really bear and give credence to this sort of conversation because they are meant to distract people. It's just, I mean, it is, we can't undo it. Let's be honest. It will always be out there. You saw Yeke Kolubata day before yesterday when he was talking.
And you here in America, here, people bring the conspiracy theory, you can read through it. But our people back there, anything their so-called idol, so-called big people say, friends say, they don't have the ability to even think beyond what they already know. So it helps to corrupt our mind. Imagine how Ebola spread so fast. People were on video on social media. They say they should not eat monkey. They would take the monkey, they would take the meat, they would eat it, they would eat glue, all the kind of things. I said they are defying who? They are defying their own lives. For me, like you said, I got my, how you call it, sanitizer in my car. When I get in there, I put it in my pocket.
How many you get, my man? You want to say one? how many bottle you get? So you mail one to me. No, seriously. I end up buying alcohol now because I can't find one.
I said, don't sanitizer in the whole country. All the one I will have here, we can't find sanitizer anymore. No. But look, we, let's continue to raise the alarm. Our people, Liberia, we are more vulnerable than other countries around us. Our people, we don't have anything. We depend on Italy. Italy is dying in their numbers. In fact, they are locking down Italy again. In fact, already on lockdown. We want America to help us. Everything America now is trying. Look at California.
California, you got it LA, right?
It's on millions of lockdown.
Yeah.
And I heard you reading the alert. So we need help from these countries that are dying in their numbers. How do they pay attention to us? So we need to start doing everything. And somebody called on the government. I listened to the commentary. I really enjoy the commentary. We don't need to do part 2 of it. Maybe to up it to new information coming in. Maybe can add in it. The government has to be serious with their instruction. If people violate this thing, let the people face the full weight of the law so that other people will be afraid. So can you imagine the police were saying that nobody should be 2 in the front seat of the taxi, there should be 3 people in the back seat. People go on social media and say that the police business to go to that one there. Then they will help ministry. I don't understand. I mean, our people, everything they oppose it just because they don't like certain leadership. And I think, Alfonso, we have a job to do. We, the media people, We need to really help our people to understand. We are far away.
So,
You and I are far away.
and the complication too here is two-way streets, right, Gibson? Because I'm quite sure you have been doing this here. People try to reach out to these people here, people that have this information, like the other fake news that came. Oh, this guy get his certificate and blah blah blah. And I send a text. I try to reach out with the health authority to send a text, and this communication director at Public Health Institute, Oliver Jai, I said, no, this is fake. And I told you, I said, well, these are some of the many reasons why when people reach out to you people, you should be able to make yourself available. You know what? 99% to some extent, I don't have the statistic. I like the data, but there's no data, but it's conspiracy theory. These make up news all the way from outside of Morovia, outside of Liberia, the USA, the Europe, the Asia, and all of that. And when we have this network, different platform where you can decide where to go to, but at this point in time, you need to start being selective where to go. Maybe this person does not speak the language that I would be saying, or this person is not at this party or that, right? No. And that's what I call on the opposition at this point in time. The people that are being the CWP, the COP. This is time for people to come together in a unified force and present something solid, even if the government is not doing this. This is what we want our government to do, and we are standing by, standing by you. I listened to Yako Kaluba day before yesterday. See what he was talking. And so when we call these people for information and their inability to spare 1, 2, 3 minutes to kind of create or to answer some tough questions, it gives people the cause to do what they are doing.
Absolutely. I agree with you. In fact, you touched on the issue of opposition, and that's one of the major things. For some reason, the opposition in Liberia don't think that they have the same weight as the ruling authority. Opposition have at least, if not half of the country following them, they have almost half of the country following them. So whatever they say, whatever they do is affecting about half or nearly half of the country. People who follow them obey their words. They do exactly what they say. I'm shocked that even up to now, the great Henry Costa will not go on his show to encourage his people to do social distancing, to take precaution, to listen to the government or the health authorities' instruction. I will not see the ANC doing that. I don't see the Unity Party. In fact, the collaborative political party, instead of fighting each other, they should now have a joint press conference and telling the rest of the Liberian people who are listening to them to say, hey, we are at the threshold, we are at the bad time, we want you to listen to the health authorities and take all the precautions. This is not a time for politics. Democrats and Republicans can't see eye to eye.
Nancy Pelosi,
this
right?
area,
and Mitch McConnell, where this is where the vision is lacking. This is why it is very difficult to avoid politics in this year. When we Darius Dillon, Akaras Gray, and these people will put in place for emergency funding to empower these people at the front line, the health workers, to get things going. When will they sit down to say, no, we get that emergency funding to go on, to authorize the president or the president to put it forward?
They are waiting. They are waiting. The other day when Donald Trump sent a $2.8 billion request, the Democrat and the Republican lawmakers said, no, their money is small. We're going to raise it to $8 billion. And if there need be, we get more money. That's how people behave. But they sit down there, they wait. They're not doing anything right now. They will not say anything. In fact, the people who got the loudest mouth, Yeke Kolba will not read any bill, so let Mullah one from that. But at least that they don't say he able to do something like that. He can introduce something like that. Introduce a package that will help people, that will help the government to spend extra money. I mean, I don't get it, Alfonso, but that's the country we have, and people like you who are the media people, you all have to help us to get a message out there. We really depend on you, the media people, to help us. If you ain't help us, we are doomed because the people don't listen to us. I mean,
why are they not listening? Help. Why are they not listening to you? Any reason?
Because you are the media man.
You say you pay agent, right? We'll soon be a pay agent. I wish I'm a pay agent. But listen, because if anybody pay me, I don't know what I will last for 1 or 2 days because we will surely fall apart. You're going to be, if you're not doing it the right way, it will not work.
Also, people don't know that everyone all got pride. You, Alfonso, over there, a government official call you and say, Alfonso, I want to pay you to do this. You first of all want to understand why this money is coming to you, because your reputation is attached.
Very important.
Everything that you have fought for is attached.
You cannot have it eroded in the
with
meaning.
all the time I spent as a journalist, tomorrow morning the information start going. Oh, getting $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on him that he working for the government. I want to be known. If I want Alfonso to know that I am now working for the government, and whatever I say is authoritative, that I have the ability to call the finance minister, have the ability to call the other justice minister to clarify information, because once you are openly appointed, the people will listen to you. But if you're undercover, who care about you? They don't understand. So when they're talking about pay agent, this and that, Alfonso, I'm telling you today, even in your grand jury community, in my grand jury community, if you don't support one side, if you tell them,
this,
you see, I don't like it.
Talking about grand jury, right?
They say you are biased.
Yeah, let a kid eat your own baby. This is part of I am so surprised of these proliferations of organizations here. How many of our counties and association, organization, this other Apoliabo, this other one, how many of them now that has come out to even talk to their own supporters, their own membership here? This is what the government of USA is saying. You need to adhere.
You have to force it.
I can't get it.
You got to force it in your head. The president of the Grand Jury Association has
not a single statement. Not a single statement.
Yeah, asking all Grandians to be careful. But what they do, they must listen to this. At least issue a statement. They say, oh, the Grand Jury Association issue a statement. They will not do it. Don't worry. They will not do it.
Not even the other man.
Now, they'll take issue with you. That you
I don't care. I don't care. That's their business. And that's what I told them. I am not contributing for any monument, because as far as I'm concerned, I do not know the dividend I'm going to bring to the county. I don't see a profit in anything. People are barefooted. People see what is happening now, but you want to invest $100 or $80 some more $1,000 to go build cement. When children come from school, they can't eat. They are barefooted. What sense does that make? So we do not even know our priorities, and that's how these failed leadership comes into being. It starts from from birth. Now they are managing these little organizations, and they cannot make informed, sound decisions. And they want to take things that it will be popular with the people. That's not the kind of person I am. You should know me by now. And they are not even coming up. All of these organizations, but then we still frown on government, and we still want to question. So you behaving the way you're behaving now. If we make you managing director to LPRC tomorrow, will you listen to all? It's so ridiculous.
Alfonso, look at the people in your community that criticize government. Let's be realistic, Alfonso. Let's be realistic here.
Yeah, even though the government too is involved, the government too get a lot of coal in the eye, and that's part of the reason why.
Oh, no, that's absolutely. No, the government got a lot of error. That's why I say the opposition need to lie about anything. They can look in there, see the errors, and talk about it. But look at the people in your community that are telling the government you're not correct. In their own homes, they cannot even run their own homes correctly. Some of them don't even have good place to stay. Some of them don't even have good job to hold. They can't even hold job for 1 month, 2 months. They are not organized. And they say, oh, the government not organized. But organize your home first now. Try to do your own wife in the house. You're not able to even sit with your wife to discuss issue, or to even do your children. You are so hard on your children, like you sometimes do something wrong. Or everything you do is wrong. Then you say, oh, government. You see, that's why before you criticize, ask yourself a question. I'm not doing anything right. But you raise a question about the certificate, and I like to really speak on that. The certificate from the so-called certificate from the WHO had on it March 18. Okay, let's assume that it is true. So this man was infected March 17. So WHO cleared the man March 18. But the man is still in quarantine. Who created that? What are they trying to say? Are they trying to deceive the public, or they are deceiving themselves? What are they trying to do? These are ill-fated ideas that people among us who call themselves as Liberians who do these things. Why would you even try to fake something? a man who could be the reason for a lot of people to be infected. You are creating a situation that he has been clear. WHO does not issue certificate for this kind of thing. They even have it on their own page. They do not. They call that scam. But you know, Alfonso, you guys should try. You can meet up for your help or a break here. I want to just thank you. Tell Omer Conca, let him continue to advise us. Omer Conca is a very great pape. I like the way he can talk.
All right. Well,
thank you very much.
Yeah, at the same time, we're going to put some hot pepper on the back of the national government, because as far we are seeing this process has not been fully executed, and we have to point to those areas. We don't just talk about what we talk, we also make recommendations is at their own violations, whether they will do it or not, but our job is to recommend. And that's how the commentary will be going from time to time. I talked to folks in Sando today. Nothing is ongoing, no preparations. People are not sensitive. That's government responsibility. And that's a zero, because their chain of command, the processing of information is very, very much ineffective. And this is why I know, Gibson, the government and media relationship is completely damaged in Liberia. And that's why we're saying
it is.
Eugene Fagon.
In fact, thank you. Thank you for talking about Sano. I just read yesterday, that the Ghanaian government has released $100 million United States to help fight or prevent the spread of coronavirus in Ghana. Liberia may not have $100 million to spend on that, but Liberia may have $10 million to spend on that. Liberia may have $5 million to spend on that. The president now needs to look towards that process and submit a crash bill that will request expenditure of at least some amount of money to be given to the health people, maybe remuneration for the nurses, so that what happened during Ebola time, where nurses were underpaid and were overworking, so that we ameliorate those kind of situation. How do we mitigate the issue about the interior side, people traveling in the interior? How do we send our information? That is the government putting in place the information team that will
this is the time facts versus fashions. Eugene Fagon. This is the time now for he to start doing his podcast. The time to do his podcast. He doesn't do it.
Yes.
He has damaged the relationship with the media industry in Liberia, and they are all quiet. Time to come on 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, he's not quiet. They're all in coma.
Absolutely. I agree with you. This is the time the government needs to strengthen its propaganda, publicity, so that the people can go to the various town. It's not hard. Go to Buchanan there, send a team. If a civic culture display or whatever, loudspeaker, or whatever you want to do, how you want to do it.
Gibson, this is very simple. Nail it.
There are radio stations in Buchanan,
local stations all over. Exactly.
All the local stations. Go there and start educating the people. It will help. But we can't sit in Monrovia and think that people in Grand General.
Look, our guys, show, they went for the press conference. The traditional press conference starts at 11. Can you imagine those guys were there today from 11 up to 7 o'clock? What sort of organization is that? What so much is the horror? If the information that you have produced, and you know that these people will be struggling to get back to their various points. Some people from Painesville, some people from Ghana, those boys, journalists, children can walk. And now there's some sort of high restriction and all of that. And you call them, they sat in that place this morning, from this morning to 7 o'clock before you, almost like 7 o'clock, almost Liberia's time. I mean, it's just not right. But we will not get tired. But I think the government has a greater share in this whole thing. We also have a responsibility in making sure, telling the good narrative of it, giving the people the rightful information. But they need to come forward because they are in charge of the information. They are the authority supposed to tell people what they should be telling people. Unfortunately, that has not happened. Nothing is going on tangible outside of Monrovia. Even if anything is going in Monrovia, this is all about transparency. If you say you have a center, take journalists on the tour. We all know Liberia is just out of war. We're still going through a recovery process. At least this is a 1 room, 2 room we have in the case of any eventuality.
So
Will you take somebody from most rubber feed that is already infected with the virus and say you driving in a car? How are you going to get that person? You going to charter the car, or what are you going to do? What happens somebody that is infected in Maryland? So these are recommendations. They need to centralize it. We know there are limited resources, but there must be a process in place. If they get somebody from way inside Sano or Maryland area there, at least the southeastern side there, they must have a central point. You can't take somebody from Grand Gita and say you're bringing them in Morovia to quarantine there. It doesn't make sense. You're going to cause more harm than good, because a lot of people are going to be infected. The man going to be hungry. You're going to be, you want to buy coconut or how you call this, corn on the highway coming. You will say, no, don't eat. Or you're going to charter a car to put that person there. So, I mean, there are a lot needs to be done. And we will continue to have this sort of conversation. Let me get a last word from my folks here, and I will be wrapping up for the rest of the evening. So, Pa George.
Right, thank you very much. Alfonso, I guess you did good, and thank you very much. I think I depend on you, like, your opinion for me to navigate my process. Thank you very much.
What happened? Your credit score? Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. Pa George, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me get a 1 minute closing remark from you guys. We can't end this yet. We'll continue to talk, and we hope the government is listening. And I hope this is stand. I wish I had the opportunity for them to hire me to do something for the government or even the opposition, because this is time you can show leadership. And that's what I was making reference to, Dylan. By this time, they're supposed to come out to say, okay, even though there's been some rough edges with the government, but in times of crisis, this is where you kind of come together as a unified force and say, this is what we're going to do, and see whether they're going to do it, they're going to muddy their own water. Okay, but go ahead, Sonny.
Yeah, Pa George, I mean, Mr. So, this is the problem we talk, and people say we criticize the government. But in every country, in every situation, when there's problem, people expect the government to take the lead.
They're doing criticizing thing. How people are not criticizing anyway.
Yes. And when you are taking the lead, you must be transparent. Look at Dr. Dube, Chris. When I listened to that man, he was the first.
Yeah, go ahead. Are you there, Mr. Josh?
I think he's gone.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we're hearing you. Go ahead quickly.
Yeah. Why you think that they could not bring that the Dube then? Now these things are all face to face. You don't have to just have a meeting and say, hey, you people, what you know, what do people think? But they will leave outside because they want that money, Mr. Pro. It's all about that money. Few group of people that need money, that's what they want. Put the people's life in danger. This is what happened in Liberia. Today, when they start reaching up to the people in the room.
Okay.
Of the public health. You know, so this thing here, all we can say, Mr. Sosimo, us, we will continue to critique the government. We will continue to propound this issue. If they are not doing it right,
the opposition too as well, they need to step forward. This is a national cause.
The moment we leave them, they will become complacent and they say, oh, my man, you see the people. No. If they're doing the right thing, we'll give them credit. But if they're not doing it, we will continue to call them out until the right thing can be put in place. And now what they're going to do with that money, and we'll continue to monitor them to make sure that the people get the services. So
yeah, maybe if no place there, let the president turn one of his mansion over to be as a quarantine center. That would be a historic news. You would make news. You say, at least you were talking about it, but it's being used now for a national cause, you know. Let you turn one of these condominium over as a quarantine center. I mean, then all of this whole noise will go away that, okay, I use it for the Liberian people during crisis.
Money and use on the people. Well, look, on a serious note here, this thing is so, this thing, the president must be on top of it. It's not that, oh, I got my team, the people working, no.
All right.
Education thing, it is a major component of this thing here. The
Right.
nurses, the doctor, they must be on the front line. Because when a doctor is talking to him, he says, so when I go to a doctor talking to me, I will listen to that doctor than any other person. He talking about my head. Let the people, let it put the money again, let it hire the nurses.
Okay.
Hire the
All right.
external.
All right, Brother George.
So on
Thank you
this
so
note,
much.
I will talk to you on the other side so we can set a day for our people in one country to start it.
Okay, sure, absolutely. I will here for that. All right, thank you so much. Okay, Christopher, go ahead with your last word.
Yeah, Mr. Sue, the last time I checked, the White House got so many rooms, but Donald Trump will never allow any corona patient to go in there. So it's not going to happen in Liberia. The president will not do that. To carry corona patient in his home. I really don't think that will happen. But anyway, on the serious note, Mr. Sue, we have a common enemy tonight in Liberia named COVID-19 coronavirus.
Right.
And folks are playing funny politics. I'm talking about the lawmakers. I'm talking about our senators. House of
Up to this
Representatives.
time, they have not even
our
produced an
representatives
emergency funding. That's a disgrace.
But we are in this fight together. We will continue to bring awareness, information, and education, etc., to our people.
Okay.
This coronavirus, is very serious. It's very deadly. But I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I know that our people are hard to listen, but at the end of the day, they will come around. Information is spreading. It's going around fast. I think the government needs to do more. The other day, I urged the president to close the school. I mean, the 1 week he gave is not bad, but I think he should go further. He should make it at least 2 to 3 weeks or a month. Our people too should start going to nightclubs and dancing and sweating. All these things.
Those bars need to be shut down.
I saw Red Light Market today and I felt so disturbed. I'm like, wow, people are in the market and lobbying against each other and Jesus. So, I mean, they got to do their own homework. Everything is not about government. When you die tomorrow, government will still be here.
All right. Thank you, my man.
Work towards that. Thank you very much. Thank you for the night.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Cummings.
Mr. Soul.
Yeah, put the cap on the head, sir, before we can go home and go sound here. You are the wise. You are the wise man.
I like that. The only thing I can say,
the thing about it, your prophecy from the onset of the whole thing is just flowing in. So yeah, so I make you the last person. There's a reason I make you the last person to speak, because this is something that you forecast this thing long ahead of time before we even start talking about it.
Yeah, thank you. I like people like you who have retentive memory and will always remember when people speak. Others, because of familiarity, they think they're too smart, they think they're too educated, they know everything, and nobody know nothing. And I always tell people I'm still learning, and I'll always learn. I heard something, and I was just sitting here, and I laughed. When you see a pen boy driving his pen because he's not wearing helmet, so you can tell him that he will not tell a police officer, say, sir, you're doing the wrong thing, because the pen boy driving a pen and he's not carrying a helmet, so the police, that man can't stop and tell the police officer, say, oh, chief, what you doing is wrong, because he's riding a pen and he got helmet on. That's a parable. I will leave it as it is for another day. I think the government doing well, and I think she can improve as it relates to information dissemination. And I think most of the people who do different series of podcasts and stuff for the government, I think this is the time they need to have to double their effort.
There you go.
In terms of information dissemination, to improve on their own podcast too and be balanced and objective. You know, in news, there's something called believability. Don't say things because you want to appease or satisfy Mr. So. Say things so that people can know that, yes, I will always listen to Alfonso. I was one of the people who came, I was preaching. I was doing my regular sermon, and I said, one person I listened to, and I truly admire them for what they did, was Alfonso So. I'm not saying this to flatter you, Mr. So, but I said it. And I said, it's an open challenge to opposition political party leaders to go and do 3-minute jingles. Help the government too. We all in this fight. Pastors, do 2-3-minute jingles. Do some flyers. Consultize your people.
Reverend, let me tell you the other one. One other church, they closed. They said, okay, even though they say there's a article, no congregating this now, but in the meantime, you can do your mobile money to send your tithe. Are you kidding me? They should send the members should still do their mobile money to pay their offering, but they are unable to create an awareness to make the people to be safe.
Mr. So, let me say this to you. You know, last week Sunday, Saturday night, I was fighting over a decision whether to allow the people to come to church or to go online. I sat down for a long time. I started laughing. I said, okay, where we watch it is a hotel. And if the hotel itself working on a policy to, you know, kind of protect their customers, I'm not going to put the people in harm's way. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Periscope, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Dial to Listen, I'm on different media, and more. 99% of the people in the church know that we online. So let's meet online. I was not waiting for the people to come and give money before we build what we build. But it also takes money to tell a vision. But like I said, Mr. Sue, opposition political parties themselves must get involved. They must do 2-3-minute jingles. Help the government. Create awareness. In our country, everything is politics. Shushan board will politicize anything. Help. Some people doing, after you, I saw some people doing the little podcast, speaking their dialect to the people. Because you know what? We lost people yesterday from Ebola. We're not prepared to lose people from COVID-19 or the coronavirus. So it is incumbent upon all of us. And I think we can do better. Even here in the Americas, country organizations can come to LIBERIA Public Radio and say, Mr. So.
No, they're waiting for put a bag there.
Mr. So, give us 1 minute, give us, 5 minutes. We want to come on to do something. You know, look, I listen to 99% of the Ghanaians. The one group of people I truly admire is the Ghanaians with information dissemination. Since the thing started, look at the different podcasts. Look at the church, what they're doing. The awareness. And when you came out, I said, no, I will not preach without making reference to this. Mr. Alfonso So Zion did something, or Alfonso So did something that was emulating that any Liberian, we must put aside our political jacket. And I love my good friend Tubazi. Tubazi said, I came here and I left my political jacket.
I said, to Christopher, he said how he was so moderate tonight. He left that jacket in the oil field tonight.
Chris Toon. Yeah, Chris Toon. Chris didn't come on here bashing at anybody. Chris didn't come here talking
I didn't hear today, Mr. So. I'm disappointed in you, Mr. So. I'm disappointed in LPR. It didn't happen tonight. The day you say it true, then you're not friends. You want to
So, my brother, we got plenty things to do here. You know, in a typical Liberian parlance, the Ghana beginner will say, "Bravi, if you can't help us to smoke, then help us to stop.
Right.
And I think that's what we need to do. We need to help our people. We need to help buttress the government effort. And Mr. So, I love what you're doing. You see, you got people on the ground. I saw your reporters the other time. Keep on, you guys keep doing what you're doing. One day it will resonate well with our people. You know, it will resonate well with our people. The dispensation of time we live in, evil is on an increase. Evil. And the only way you can help people is by conscientizing them. I will not say because I'm familiar with Mr. So the thing he's telling me to not go fight people, to not insult people, because I know Alfonso, so that Alfonso leave me, I'll go there, I will show my strength. No, there's no time for it.
Right.
I think we can do better. I think we will get there. Thank you so much.
Okay, there's the voice of veteran journalist Cummings himself, one of the veterans in this business, always having positive shows, and these are things that we want to be doing. So we say it as it is. We do not antagonize people because who you are or what you believe in. We just put it into context and allow people to make the decision. All right, brother Cummings, thank you so much for being part of this talking point, and let's continue the work. We can give up. We can give up here. Folks, every good thing must come to an end. I'm Alfonso Z and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Again, if you are from any of these political subdivisions, whatever dialect you can speak, we try to find a chain of communication to get this reached to our older people, to rural Liberia, to urban Liberia, not necessarily to Monrovia, to communicate with our village, our towns, and our cities. Why we can't speak about that? You can't even speak the English good. So what is the big deal of speaking your own dialect? We're not going to put your video there. You want to do it, that's okay, because we want it for people to see it real. Do a recording, send it to us. We're going to create the animations and put it out there so that people will know. Again, this is not all about Press George Weah business. This is not all about ALP, ANC, whatever party, Unity Party. No. This is a serious and national cause. While I was on air, about 40 million will be locked down in California, making the projections in the next 8 weeks. The number of people that are going to 56% will be infected. They are calling on them to stay indoor. So if we do not help in creating the information, the basic information our people need to know. America got her own problem. Italy got her own problem. Germany, forget it. Philippines, a specific island of 57 million people already locked down. So this is a global war. All of these countries, when it comes to disaster that you can look up to, they themselves are constrained right now to do anything. So if you don't help yourself, nobody gonna help you. So again, send those videos, send those audios, and I will do everything best possible. Until then, I'm Alfonso Z, and so before we leave, like I said, I'm excited. We managed to get somebody from the southeastern side of Sano County, in the southeast as well. Hopefully, we'll do everything possible to be getting information from there. So I'm going to be taking you to Sandot in our closing here tonight, and I want to thank all of my viewers and followers. Your comments. Remember, whatever I say on this network is not the views and view opinions of the management of the Liberia Public Radio, but we do help to facilitate this conversation. Thank you so much, and have a pleasant evening.
sonyine ngbake acha wepo mo awruwa mo konkawo amba mo diyo mo po ma chewo yo mo dire kwawo boya mo di bawo boya mo nyawo aba mo diyo nkefo mo konkawo ablion kregbe mo nawluwo mo awruwa mo krai konka ablion inji krawe e mo rusia kaya nu che we escablo awe e de ba nyon che en we tenye inji krawe en rusia ablion nyo bo kwa toye boyon kwa toye nyon si ago on si aje e wuri awe an bo kwa toye de oja en sego bo di blie Abinho, isso é sonho, de quoi, de sopo quoi, de saflin, quoi. Do minin jo dugedi, de quadre, Abinho, o baque. Bonham de bar, non, on s'y a dit, one wait and wait son, bodier, body bar. Abinho, bon, du quoi with dear, bon son, quoi poe, bon, du quoi with dear. Bonham won't yan, non, on ya, on s'y a dit, we son, bodier, bon, one yan. That's a yin mo. Bon, no, we bar. We bar, de boyan de so. Quatoyan, de boyan de so. No one yan, this boyan de so. It's where so, one, go away there. De quoi?
Oje, abia wo po nyi ti sebra. Kiora, amole kre po ja te de bia wo nyi ti sebra.